One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
She has closely studied the former president's past 6 debate performances. She's also been sort of entrenched in these briefing papers going over the former president's past comments, as well as the ways that he has insulted her, so she can be prepared to respond to that. She's engaged in these mock debates with a stand-in for the former president, and she's had conversations with Hillary Clinton and President Biden, who both extensively have knowledge of debating the former president.
Part of the debate prep that we understand she's been doing from sources is to figure out how to respond to Donald Trump on the stage. If he were to launch an insult or some other derogatory comment at her, as he's done on the campaign trail, part of the preparation process has been to figure out how to respond to those things. We've heard from sources as well as surrogates who were on TV over the weekend that part of the plan is for the vice president to remain calm in those situations, to appear presidential in those situations, but also be prepared to stand her ground, to call out any lies that she may hear on the debate stage, and to take Donald Trump to task on things that did or didn't happen during his time in the White House and the plans that he has going forward, trying to tie some of his ideas to things that have been presented as part of Project 2025, Chris.
Project 2025 is what she's got to take him to task on. That phantom agenda that only she doesn't seem to understand is not Donald Trump's. So I want you to basically think hard about this. You've been in a high-profile job. You've been hired as the manager, the director, somebody in some authority at a company. You've been there for 3.5 years, almost 4. Do you need to go get, someone who looks like your boss, someone who could stand in and ask you questions and pretend like, they're the boss? Let me just hire this guy and see what kind of questions he's going to say, and then I can figure out how to answer these questions, because I don't really know, because I've been here 3.5 years, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. If you could answer that question, then you're pretty much in the same boat, unfortunately, as Kamala Harris. I could not imagine being in a job for 3.5 years And I would need somebody to come to me and show me and tell me what I should say and what I should do to questioning. That tells me all I need to know, that this woman isn't ready for prime time. She is not ready for the presidency. There is no possible way. If you're ready, you're ready. You know it, you know it. You've been there for 3.5 years. And you had to hire somebody who looks and talks like Donald Trump so you know what to do when Donald Trump says something. I have a hint. Why not just be honest? If you're capable and you've done the job, you don't have to sit back and wait for zingers, your opportunity to say, I'm speaking now. That ain't gonna cut it tomorrow, girl. That is not going to cut it. And what I'm going to show you tonight is a series of videos. Basically, her strategy and his strategy. That alone, that contrast in strategy, is enough to say she's not ready. She's just not ready whatsoever. So let me jump into this because I find it important that we get to it. This was on MSNBC, Meet the Press Now. This was Christian Welker talking to one of the surrogates of Kamala Harris. And boy, was his nipple hurting. I mean, he was tweaking. There's something wrong. He's kind of afraid. You hired a soy boy to be one of your, consiglieres, and instead you brought this guy in who doesn't look like he's ever fought in any sort of, even in a schoolyard. But unfortunately, that's what you get. Listen to this.
Welcome back. Joining me now is Ian Sams, senior national spokesman for the Harris-Walz campaign and a former White House staffer. Ian, thanks so much for being with me this afternoon. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
We are going to talk policy, of course, but I have to start with Tuesday's all-important debate. We have learned now that the rules are set. The microphones will be turned off when the other person is speaking. We know that that's not what you guys were pushing for. So tell me what your reaction is to this.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing. I think the vice president really felt strongly about having the microphones unmuted so that the American people could see a real debate with real exchanges between the two candidates back and forth. I think you think about the sort of viral moments of her that people remember from her time in the Senate where...
Stop right there. So stop right there. You're telling me that with all of the preparation, 3.5 years as the vice president, all of this time, what she really wants is the viral moments. That's what she thinks is being presidential. And this guy's all upset because, she's not going to get to do the zingers. She just can't come out there and say, I'm speaking. Shut up. I'm speaking. I'm a black woman. Don't do that. And they're upset because she can't do that. Now, if you want to be upset with somebody, you need to be upset with Dementia Joe. These were the rules he put in place. You're just a stand-in at this point. You're just the Johnny-come-lately or the Joan-come-lately who's stepping in his place. These rules were already set there, and now you're mad because you can't get that viral moment. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was a prerequisite for being a president, having a viral moment. How about just talking, answering the questions that you probably got in advance, and let us know what exactly you're going to do about X, Y, and Z.
Trump appointees were before the Judiciary Committee, the way she's incisive in her questioning, asking them to draw out the truth and the facts about what they are talking about.
Wait a minute. So she wanted to be the moderator. Well, then resign. Resign, get a job with ABC News, and then you can be the moderator. You can ask the questions. Because did you hear what he just said? Her time as a prosecutor, she likes to bring the questions out and let people know what they need to be answering. That ain't how it works, honey. This is supposed to be a moderated debate, not supposed to be the Kamala Harris show, where you get to basically ask the questions.
Having that taken away from her in this debate is a challenge. And I think, we wish that the Trump campaign had understood that these are two different candidates than there were a few months ago, and that it was very clear that the Trump campaign wanted to keep a muzzle on their candidate so that they could try to instill some discipline. I think they were worried about what might happen in those.
Hey, soy boy, that's not it at all. At this point, especially with Corey Lewandowski back in the helm, they're all about let Trump be Trump. There ain't nobody putting a muzzle on Donald Trump if Donald Trump doesn't want to put a muzzle on. I think he learned from that last debate that is an inept, incompetent, subpar opponent. The best thing to do is shut up and let them answer. Hey, okay, so Kamala, yes, okay, so the sky is blue. Do you believe the sky is blue? You got 2 minutes. Yeah, the sky is blue, but sometimes it changes colors. You done? Yeah. You remember that happening over and over in the debate with Biden? If you can't carry an answer for 2 minutes, you're going to look really stupid. I think Donald Trump realized, you know what? When they ask her about immigration, hey, so what's your plan on the border? You got 2 minutes. We're all going to sit back and listen. Bring it. Let's see if she can fill 2 minutes. 2 minutes with babble. He doesn't have to say anything. Just go ahead and say it. And then when she's done, then you come in for the kill. They're not ready for this. Now, if you're looking for viral moments and you wanted her to be the prosecutor / moderator, no, you're not ready for what's about to happen.
Exchanges with the vice president, and we're trying to sort of keep him under control. And I think, look, to their point, it's probably good for them. It's probably helpful. It's going to help Donald Trump stay under control and calmer and more disciplined and restrained. In June, for example, in the debate, he lied over and over again.
I love how MSNBC hosts just let these people say whatever they want. He lied over and over again. Dude, tomorrow, it ain't working. You're not going to be able to have Kamala be the fact checker while it's going. You're probably hoping that the moderators turn into fact checkers. If it does, all of us are going to see it, and we're going to know this thing is fixed. Everyone thinks it's going to be rigged. It may get rigged.
But maybe he seemed a little bit more normal because he couldn't be interrupting and interjecting all the time. And so, look, this is a guy who's a showman. I think he knows how to perform in debates like this. I think he knows how to get ready for the big lights on TV. And he's a very experienced debater at this point. This is his 7th general election presidential debate, which is probably the most of anybody in history. And, I think that we're looking to see that they're probably ready to have him seem a little bit more restrained and normal for the country.
Ian, I hear you trying to lower expectations. Is there a reason you're doing that?
Yeah, there's a reason why. He's representing Kamala Harris. That's why. That's why he's lowering expectations. That's a real easy question. She's the one who's not ready for prime time. Remember, they've kept her completely hidden since she got the announcement. They did that one fake interview at CNN and she flubbed that. And so now she's going to be live on television without a net, without any notes, by herself. Hopefully he can pull her wig back and see, oh, you didn't know that, right? You knew it was a wig, right? I'm not giving you any breaking news right now, have I? So she's going to have to pull back her wig and make sure, she doesn't have an earpiece in. For those of you I just burst your bubble, yes, she wears a wig. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But if you saw her yesterday walking through the park with her husband, you saw what the real Kamala Harris looked like. And she wears a wig. But I digress. Let's continue.
It's interesting, this lowering expectations question. I mean, Donald Trump is in Sean Hannity's town hall in Pennsylvania attacking ABC, claiming conspiracy theories about we're going to get the questions ahead of time. And
these people don't think that you have any kind of short-term memory. Maybe he should Google Donna Brazile and debate questions. It's happened. All the conspiracy theories that these people think are, just made up, we've lived through them. Donna Brazile gave Hillary Clinton the debate questions. So, of course, you gotta wonder, is Kamala Harris getting the debate questions? That is a valid question because you people cheat. We all know it. You cheat. Own it. You're doing everything possible to keep RFK Jr. on a ballot when he's already said he's not running for president. You try to keep Cornel West on the ballot. It's insane. You need a scorecard from all the rules you people are breaking. Different states wouldn't have to be taking 80,000 dead people off their rolls. Virginia, oh, they're all scrubbing. I'm like, oh, they're dead. Oh, what'd they vote last year when they were dead? Nothing can be taken for granted. Yes, you people cheat. And we're looking for it. We're going to be looking to see if she touches her ear next to her wig piece. We're going to be looking to see if someone's, basically giving her any kind of signals. We're going to listen to what the moderators say, what kind of questions they toss up to her. We're all going to listen. So don't come at us with all this, conspiracy crap.
People aren't really talking about that as Donald Trump lowering expectations.
Well, to be fair, we are talking about that too. But since I'm interviewing you, I just want to put the question.
I love it. I can't believe MSNBC said, hey, we're talking to you. Stop deflecting. Answer the damn question.
Why are you lowering expectations?
I'm just telling the truth. I think it's a little bit dispiriting that the mute button is going to be on for the debate and prevent the candidates from being able to go back and forth.
I'm just a little bit worried that I'm not going to be able to go back and forth because, Donald Trump lies and lies and lies, and Kamala may not understand how to come back. And so without her being able to think quickly on her feet or somebody tell her what she needs to say, we might be at a disadvantage. It's not fair. No. It's not fair if one or the other didn't have the same thing. If the rules are the same for both people, it's absolutely fair. That's by its very definition, fair. So what you're saying is your candidate, Kamala Harris, is inferior. She can't do it. She's not capable of doing it. So you need the rules changed so she looks differently. I'm sorry she's 5'4" or 5'3". And no, you're not going to have a box to put her on to make her look more presidential. Trump's going to tower over her. Sorry. That's not being not fair. It is what it is. They tried everything. She won't have any notes. During the break, you can't come out there like a cut man in a fight and try to help her. She's flying blind, live without a net. And all she wants to do, and you've heard it said by them, all she was hoping to do was to have a, quote, viral moment. That's all she wanted. Because she figures, oh, you go, girl. You told him. That's what she was hoping for. People would wake up on Wednesday and hear and say, oh, she won because she was able to come out with some sort of zinger against him. What about the policy? You got any policy? You're going to talk about different things you've done? It was funny. There was a tweet that came out earlier today, and I just absolutely loved it. And what made it really funny is Elon Musk retweeted it, reposted it to his gazillion followers, and so nearly 7 million people have seen this. And this profile called End of Wokeness goes, here's the way Trump should respond. And I love this. Listen to these things. Harris goes, I will be tough on the border. Trump should say, 20 million people invaded this country under your watch as borders are. If you believe the border is bad now, wait till you fulfill her pledge to give free health care to illegals. And while he's talking, she can't talk. She can't talk. No coming back. You're going to have to stand on that. I will lower prices. Well, you've had almost 4 years to lower prices, yet here we are. If you have a magic wand for reducing costs, why wait? Use it now. The fact is, your policies have led to inflation, not relief. Perfect retort. Next one. You're a convicted felon. You're a racist, rapist, xenophobic, blah, 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 blah. My legal battles are a badge of my fight against corrupt establishments. If I had sold out like many of you in Washington, I wouldn't be facing these charges. This isn't justice, it's political retribution. What you got? What you gonna say? Let's talk about Project 2025. How about not? I say Project 2025, that's a diversion. Let's talk about the real project that's failed America, Project 2021, otherwise known as your administration's track record. I've publicly distanced myself from the Project 2025, and your focus on it only shows you're out of touch with what Americans really care about. Ooh, boy, if he can remember that one, because they're going to bring up this Project 2025 stuff over and over and over again. A woman has a right to choose is the next one here. I believe in democracy where states decide on issues like that thing. I can't say the word. Reflecting the will of the people in those states. But let's not forget, you've advocated for mandates that took away individual choice, like with the jab. Everything, how can I say this? Her record as vice president cannot be hidden. The moderators are going to try and hide it, but as I've said many, many times here, all you have to say is, why didn't you do it? Or this is what you did. How are you new? How are you fresh? We've seen what you're capable of doing. We understand what you are looking forward to doing. Forget your policies and all that crap. We know you're a fake. Bernie told us you were. Bernie Sanders like, no, she'll say anything just to get elected. I would keep that in back of my mind if I were Trump. I understand what you're saying now, but even Bernie Sanders said you will say anything just to get elected. He said it. Fact check it all you want. That's what Bernie said. What about January 6th? Yeah, they're going to bring up that again. You supported and bailed out the rioters in Minneapolis. You encouraged them, telling them not to stop. $2 billion worth of property damage and dozen killed. If you notice the things we've all talked about that they'll probably bring up against Trump. January 6th, 34-time convicted felon. It has nothing to do with helping Americans. It's all about attacking Trump. Project 2025, they're just making it up. He has already disavowed himself from it. The Supreme Court said that the baby removal business is going to be handled at the state level. There's nothing to discuss. I don't have some national ban that I'm proposing. I don't need to. The Supreme Court already said, here's the law of the land. Each state can do what they want. If they want to have it, have it. If they don't want to have it, and their constituents are okay, then it won't be. Next question. Just move on at that point. There's nothing for me to discuss. Unlike y'all who don't want to listen to Supreme Court decisions, when you try to keep going, and Joe said, I'm going to get around it so I can give up these loan forgivenesses. I actually listened to the Supreme Court decision. Ooh, that would be a good one. That would be a very good one. Because we know they've tried to do anything they can to get around the different things that the Supreme Court has said. Trump just needs to say merely, I'm looking at following the law. Did I not show that? I thought I showed it. Yeah, it was all right there. Anyway, I must have hit the wrong button. In any event, let me take some of your comments. I've seen a video of Pelosi admit with her own mouth it was her fault for January 6th. Yep, I've seen it. Enough of the cheaters. We need cheaters. Harris lying and cheating. Absolutely. I bet the back of her pants stink. Oh my God, you guys are too funny. Barry, everything they said set up against Trump is going to backfire on them. I completely believe that. They tried everything they possibly could to get this man in jail. They did it all failed. So now you've got a debate. She doesn't want to. Trust me, she doesn't want to get on stage with this man. But she has to. Her numbers are tanking, and people are now seeing the cowardice. One thing most Americans don't like is a yellow streak. They don't want to have cowards in front of them, leading them. Definitely not as president. So you need to step up and forget your zingers and your viral moments. You need to show people that you are prepared to lead as president. Take it seriously. Yes, the debate is tomorrow. We will be live at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, I'm going to have the CEO of Lyric Capital on here. We're going to have some questions beforehand. Should be a fun time. He's going to answer all your questions about buying gold, and then we're going to segue right into the debate. So come on back. Oh, that's a good one. Somebody says, how about the SAVE Act? Dementia Joe came out today and said, nope, I'm going to veto it. For those of you who don't know what the SAVE Act is newcomers can't vote in our elections. That should be a cut and dry law. Everybody on both sides of the aisle should say, nope, yeah, we don't want newcomers voting in our elections. He said he'll veto it. And so we may not have an election. This thing may get shut down. The government may shut down. The government doesn't have any money, I think, at the end of this month or beginning of October. Money runs out. So they're going to need a continuing resolution because they have to keep kicking the can down the road because they can never come up with a budget. And so the Republicans have grown a pair and said, we're not giving you any more money unless you stop newcomers from voting. And Biden came out today and said, nope, not going to sign it. So who knows? All this may be moot. They don't want to have an election. This might give them the perfect opportunity not to have it. We are not going to attach this thing to the continuing resolution, and so we'll have to shut down the government. Oh well. Yes, and people have said, but Barry, elections are, state-run. Who certifies it? Who certifies an election? That would be the vice president. Now, I got a storm coming in, so I hope we don't get blipped off here. But, September 30th is the end of the fiscal year, and they got no more money coming in. They better not back down. They better not. Yeah, you didn't know that about Biden? You know why? Because they don't tell you. They only tell people the stuff in the news that they want them to know. I actually saw people today, as you know, earlier and last night, talking about, hey, this whole thing about the cat isn't real. It's made up. Never mind the fact that there's body cam video from the cops who arrested the woman. It's like, don't believe anything. We're Democrats. Everything is fine. I've had people today who were friends of mine for years and years, who are business people, who were trying to say, well, in Florida a couple years ago, this guy tried to eat somebody's face. That was a guy who was high on flakka, whatever the drug was called, and he went out of his mind, got committed because he tried to attack somebody. This wasn't somebody looking for a snack. He didn't put on a bib and go, hey, let me get the little white woman here. She might be tender. No, he did not do that. That was a drug-induced psychosis. These people are out there serving up dinner, grabbing geese and ducks and cats and everything. But that was yesterday's video. I hope Trump steps on that. I mean, touches on that. That needs to be talked about. So let's get to the next video. Oh, by the way, let me stop for a second here and let you guys know we have over 1,200 people have been able to register for this sweepstakes we're running. 1,200 people. I understand some people had a hard time logging in because of the spam protection. I'm going to move to another platform so it won't happen next time, but do your best. Robin and I, and I can say now I'm going to be including Ashley, because she's in here, my daughter. We're going to give away a trip for two to come down here to South Florida. All expense paid. We're going to pay for the airfare in the continental USA. We're going to give you 3 nights and 2 days, the other way around, 3 days and 2 nights in a hotel, and take you out to dinner with Robin and myself. So if you'd like to enter that, go ahead and go to fanfareshop.org. It's real simple. Just got to put your name, your email, your phone, and then tomorrow we're going to announce the winner. So you make sure you enter, and then make sure you're watching tomorrow so you can hear if you're the person who gets to get flown down here, because that's what we do. That's how we roll. That's how we roll here. Give people an opportunity, give back. When people bless us with all kinds of donations, it is my impetus to give back to our community. So go ahead and register. I'll post it again later if you missed it. Let's continue with the show.
I hear Harris say there's no floor when it comes to how low Donald Trump will go, so she can't necessarily try to match him in that sense. Fernand, the same.
There's no floor in regards to how low Donald Trump will go. When we all know that all she wanted to do was have zingers and retort. She's mad because she can't. And these people are completely obtuse. You're just assuming Trump's going to go low. Why is he going to go low? Because anything that looks like it's a clap back to you, that's being going low. No, if you say some crap he doesn't like, he's going to tell you. You may not like it, but it's not going low. It's not like he's going to tell everybody tomorrow on television, like, Kamala, you're wearing a wig. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to come after her on policy. That's not going low.
The same New York Times poll shows this race nationally is a toss-up right now. 1 point separates Harris and Trump, again, within the margin of error. But look at who people see as the change candidate.
This must have had her going into the executive bathroom at the White House and borrowing some of Dementia Joe's Depends. When she looked at this, and this is a New York Times poll being broadcast on MSNBC today, and this poll says the major change candidate here by 53%, so it's over the threshold of partisanship, has said Donald Trump is the person for change, which means, as you may know, the crap that's been going on right now, we can't stand for this. We need to change it. Who's best to change it? Well, not the person who's been doing it. The change is the person who says, I got different ideas. I'm going to change what these people have done. And as you can see right there, 53% say Trump is the person who can change things. He can get us back to better gas. He can get us back to cheaper grocery prices. He can stop all this stuff with these newcomers. Only 25% of the people they polled, and I hate polls, but if MSNBC is reporting this, this is a red flag for Kamala. This is like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Percent say Trump represents major change, just 25% for Harris. Maybe seems counterintuitive since Trump was already president. He hasn't stopped talking about 2020.
Why would it be counterintuitive? It's just the opposite. If I can sit back and go, wow, in 2020, I was paying this much for gas, this much for groceries, this much for rent, my mortgage was this much, interest rates at the bank were this much, I didn't have a gazillion newcomers coming into town, nobody was eating my cats. Yeah, I do remember what 2020 was like. I do remember what 2019 was like. What is these people, dumb?
Hey, what do you make of it?
What do you make of it? I'm making of it that people can remember when times were better. As Trump always says, it's very simple. Are you better off now or are you better off before? It's a simple question in all of politics. You've lived through 4 years, basically, of this crap. Are you better off now or were you better off before? Pretty simple. So what do you mean? What do you make of it?
Well, I think that change number should be higher because Trump would represent the greatest change in the history of the American Republic. He would take our democracy and turn it into an authoritarian strongman, likely dictatorship on day one.
This is what the liberals are listening to. Oh, he'll be a change agent, okay, and what he's going to do is change this into an authoritarian regime with a dictator on day one. Oh my God, you people are stupid. You have to at this point. I'm sorry. I know there's some libs that come in here and they troll us and they say stupid things, but you people are dumb. If you stand up and listen to people say stuff like this and say that he's going to be a dictator, I fear for your sanity. You've been too much, hitting the pipe or something. You think that half this country or more wants a dictator? You think we're all stupid? No, your people on your networks are saying the most stupid, insane things possible, and you lap it up. This guy's a complete friggin' moron, and he doesn't mean it.
His own words, not mine. So those numbers don't surprise me. But look, I think with Kamala Harris, tomorrow's debate, you got to understand, this is the last major event before Election Day. Now, people think Election Day in November, not true. Election day starts next week when ballots in Pennsylvania will begin being cast. So this is really an opportunity for her to, yes, as Chris says, draw some policy contrast. But I don't think it's really about that. I think it's about showing that voters can trust her, that she is a credible commander-in-chief, that she is ready to...
Wait. How do you show voters that you can be trustworthy? You can trust your life and your family's life when you've hidden for 2 months? How can you possibly get people to go, yeah, I think she would do well with me. She would make sure that my investments and my family and everything okay because she's showing up for a debate that she has to? Do you think people are stupid and don't remember? Hey, where's she been? I haven't seen her. She's been hiding. I don't know if she's got my best interest in heart. I don't even know if she knows what my best interests are. She's disappeared. And Timmy Waltz, Tampon Timmy as they call him, that's even worse. Like, I don't think so. And that's why she's losing young men big time.
To assume and become president and lead our country into a stable growth. We've had tremendous economic success.
What's this tremendous economic success you speak of? As far as I know, you fudged the numbers on the job report. Nearly 1 million jobs were Sopranos-style ghost jobs. Nobody was there. They didn't exist. Interest rates, gas, food. What in the hell are you talking about? Tremendous success. How do the people who watch this shit, excuse my language, not throw up when they hear these people talk?
Over these last 4 years under Harris and Biden, and if she could continue to make that case and let Trump be Trump, he will not be able to resist with the insults, with the demeaning things, and he wants to make it a mud fight. If she can rise above that, be ready for that first zinger, and switch pages quickly, I think she's going to be in strong...
Switch pages quickly. You mean notes? Because outside of that, she ain't switching anything quickly. She doesn't have the capacity to switch anything quickly.
Shape.
A few moments later.
Would you consider yourself a...
Okay, so let me set this up. This is funny. No, she's going to be fine if she just can do this and do that, and everything else is going to be, the other thing, and she'll be fine. So CNN has this other guy who's out there talking to Casey, I think it's Bob Casey, who is running for re-election in Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, the big prize, Pennsylvania. So this guy's a Democrat, and surely he knows that he should hitch his wagon to Kamala Harris, right? Because if she's going to be president, it would help him become reelected as senator. Let's see what he has to say about Kamala Harris.
Biden Harris Democrat.
Oh, I don't put a label on it.
What issues do you break from her on?
I'm not going to try to itemize issues that we might not have total agreement.
Don't want to have nothing to do with this. Nothing. Don't want to have nothing to do with her. Please don't ask me these questions. I don't want to hitch my wagon to Kamala. I got my own campaign to run. She's a loser. And you want me to step up and be a part of that campaign? That ain't happening. That ain't happening at all. How embarrassing was it for the Vice President of the United States, who's running for president, who needs Pennsylvania to win, and their elected senators like, I'm not necessarily a Biden-Harris person. What do you mean? You're a Democrat. How are you not a Biden-Harris person? Trump should play that on a loop in Pennsylvania. I don't know if he's seen it, but he put that on a loop. Said, even Pennsylvania senator doesn't want to have anything to do with Kamala Harris. Those were his exact words. Don't show me this way. I can't be out there. Unbelievable. What time the debate? Debate is tomorrow at 9 p.m. and we go live at 8 p.m. She is just scared to death that Trump is going to win. Go Trump, go Trump. Absolutely. Yeah, that's Casey. That's the senator from Pennsylvania who doesn't want to have anything to do with her. Didn't even look like he wanted to be on camera talking about her. Get this camera away from me. I want nothing to do with that hag, okay? I got to try and win my own re-election first. That's pretty bad. Where is the debate you say is now happening? I didn't say that. I don't know what you're talking about. I said this is a preview. Preview. In case you ever went to the movies, you know, something coming attractions, talking about strategy, what's happening tomorrow. So make sure you buckle in, all right? All right. Who's going to be the fact checker of the fact check you're doing fact checking? Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be nuts. This woman, Karen, says, I am from Pennsylvania, and Casey sucks. He's a liberal Democrat and votes 100% with the Dems. Except for now, he doesn't want to have anything to do with the Democrat vice president. Says a lot. I don't know how many people have seen that clip, but it says a lot. A tremendous amount. So, speaking of Pennsylvania, let's look at something else from Pennsylvania where the numbers aren't looking good for Kamala whatsoever.
What is clear, top of mind for voters in this election, is the economy. And specifically in these states, roughly 8 in 10, just a shade over 8 in 10, say that the economy is a major issue in deciding their vote. Inflation also continues to be a major concern. Voters clearly feeling uneasy. A majority, more than a quarter of registered voters in each of these 3 states say that their income is not keeping up with inflation.
You don't say.
You can imagine both candidates will be asked about this tomorrow night. Brianna?
Yeah, those are big numbers there out of those battleground states, Boris.
People know who Trump and Harris is. People know what Trump is. They don't yet know what Vice President Harris is. And if she can successfully fill out the what, she has some upside here, some real upside.
If, James Carville's words, if she can convince people as to who she is and what she is, then she's got some upside. Well, that's not a glowing endorsement. If she can show people that she actually has the chops and that she knows what she's talking about, she's got some good upside. Conversely, she's in big trouble right now because people don't know who she is and they don't really care about her and they don't even know what she's for. So if she can basically enlighten some people, it might be okay. That was James Carville. It wasn't my words. He said it. If she can do this stuff. It just goes on and on when I see this stuff. So listen to this one.
Let's talk more now about how both of these candidates are gearing up for this big night tomorrow with Alex Thompson, national political reporter for Axios and CNN political analyst. And Alex, I do want to note, you have recently written about how Harris is copying President Biden's self-protection media strategy.
The self-protection media strategy. When you start to lose CNN, you're in big trouble. At this point, they're like, hey, man, my personal credibility is on the line, so I'm not really down with your self-protection Biden's media strategy.
Does that work for her when you look at this new New York Times polling showing 28% of likely voters say they need to know more about her?
So you just heard James Carville say the absolute truth. If she can expose herself and come across as credible and come across as something or someone that these people can trust, she has some upside. So you have one night. Basically what he's saying, you have one night on national television going up against one of the best debaters in political history, as everybody says, to show that you got the skills to be the president. Because 28% of the people don't even know who the hell you are. And that's your fault. You hid in the basement. You thought this was going to be a smart strategy, and it's killing you.
You know, Democratic strategists are really split on this exact question because on one level, you could argue that sort of doing this protective media strategy is avoiding any sense of gaffes. And let's remember that some of her worst moments as vice president were in some of these unscripted interview moments. She is.
If you're a vice president of a country and you have to hide, or your staff has to hide you because they're worried that you're going to come out with a bleh, spit out something out your mouth that doesn't make any sense and looks stupid, you've already lost. This isn't a protection strategy with the media. This is, hey, we need to hide this bimbo.
Not usually as comfortable in those settings. At the same time, by not doing interviews, she still has not done one solo interview. By not doing interviews, she has raised the stakes for every unscripted moment that she has. That's why tomorrow night's debate has really become this really pivotal moment for her, because the fact is that a lot of Americans, as many as 30%, say that they don't know enough about her yet.
She created her own problem. She's backed herself into a corner. Whoever was tutoring her, whatever mentor she had that said, stay out of the limelight. Don't let people know who you are. Stay quiet. Shut up. Now you've got one night to change it all, and you got to go up against Donald Trump. And this guy's basically telling the truth at this point is, I don't know how she's going to do it.
And so this, for many voters, especially those critical voters in those swing states, this is going to be their first impression of her. So it's a really, it's a moment.
Imagine that. Somebody's running for president of the United States, the biggest office in the world. We are less than 2 months away, and people don't know who she is. Just let that sink in. People don't even know what she's about. They know Donald Trump. They may not like him, but they know all about him and what he's done. And so you're coming out and you're letting people know I can be the president, but you're showing everybody that you're terrified of going up against competition. You didn't want RFK Jr. at the debates. You didn't even go through any sort of primary. They anointed you. And you don't even have the respect after being anointed to get out there and actually talk to people.
That's really pivotal for her campaign.
Yeah, and they want to know about her policies or plans. That seems to be the area in this polling that they most feel is a void. So I wonder what you're hearing about how she plans to explain her changing views on policies like banning fracking, like border security, when she's on the debate stage.
Yeah, like every good politician that moves to the center during a general election, she's going to try to sort of thread the needle here and basically say, listen, I've been vice president for 4 years. Some of my opinions have changed as I've been in proximity to the Oval Office. I've been proximity to power. Also, circumstances have changed. But also the fact of the matter is that all these changes have all gone in one direction for the most part.
So in other words, she's going to lie. Because none of what she has said that she is now for, before she was against, happened until like the last month and a half. So you're trying to tell me you're going to elect someone to be president of the United States who didn't know themselves what they were all about until like 30 days ago. You feel comfortable with that? You feel comfortable knowing that somebody didn't even know what they stood for less than 30 days ago, and now is telling you, oh yeah, don't worry about that. I'm not like that anymore. This is how I really am. But Bernie Sanders said you'll say anything to get elected. You just have to win, right? Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And they've all gone from the left to the center, which suggests that it's not just about her changing views, but it is also a politically motivated action.
I want to read something that you wrote. One of the features of her melded staff, which is Harris loyalists and Obama alumni grafted onto existing Biden staffers, is that even some of her own staffers aren't sure where she stands on a range of issues. How did you find that?
I hope you're listening to this. I hope you tell your friends. I hope you tell your family members, your coworkers, everybody. Not only did she not know what she stood for until like 30 days ago, the people working with her on her staff, former Obama people, former Biden people, they don't even know what she's doing. It's just like paint by number stuff. She doesn't have a clue. I can't believe CNN aired this. I cannot believe CNN just went out with a guy from Axios and said she doesn't have a clue what the hell she's doing. Her staff doesn't have a clue.
affecting things, and how pervasive is that?
I'll just give you one small example. So last week, I asked her campaign, would she sign a bill she co-sponsored in 2019 that basically mandated automakers to only make electric vehicles by 2035, 2040. And it took 6 days for me to get an answer. And the answer at the end of those 6 days was no comment.
A major policy that means a lot to people in Michigan and through that entire area up there, the auto industry. Hey, we saw that in 2019. You basically co-signed this policy where you wanted to make sure that all cars had to be EVs. No more gas-powered automobiles. Done by 2035. Has your name on it. You signed it. Guy walks in, says, hey, listen, just checking. I know she's running for president right now. Yeah, does she still want to do that? Oh, you'll get back to me? Okay. 6 days later, they get back to him, and 6 days later they say, no comment. What? You can't comment on a major piece of legislation that you signed, and now that you're running for president, you don't want to let people know whether or not you're for an EV mandate or not? And you expect to get on the stage tomorrow with Donald Trump? And when that comes up, hey, listen, I'm sure Donald Trump is seeing this. In 2019, you said that all people had to have electric vehicles. Do you still believe that? You can't say no comment tomorrow. You have to have an answer for the world. Do you still believe that? Okay, so she says, no, I don't believe that anymore. I'm not going to enforce that. Okay, then why did you wait 6 days to tell the reporter? Who told you that that's what you had to say? Because obviously at this point, she couldn't give an answer.
And this is sort of an aspect of what some people in the Democratic Party have told me is like the Frankenstein campaign, is that, by virtue of the unprecedented circumstances of her getting into this race so late, you have this situation in which it's part Obama staffers, it's part Biden staffers, and it's part her team. And it's really sometimes unclear who's in charge. And also a lot of those people don't have extensive knowledge of the candidate they're now working for.
Oh, I'd feel real confident if I were a Democrat. How confident are you if you're a Democrat in here? That the people working with her don't have a clue what's going on. We don't know what she's for. We don't know what she's against. She doesn't know what she's for or what she's against. Somebody hasn't told her yet. This was today. That video was from today. That wasn't a week ago. She talked to the people from Axios. No, she didn't. Somebody talked to the people from Axios and said no comment. The people from CNN bring the guy on. So tell us, what's her stance? They don't know. What do you mean they don't know? The debate's tomorrow. They said it's kind of hard because we've got piecemeal candidates here. This person's from the Obama, this one's from Biden. She doesn't really have her own people. So you're telling us she's not prepared to be president. How can she possibly be almost tied with Trump in the polls? This aired on CNN. They are starting to basically lay the groundwork that this woman is a fraud. You may not have seen this. Many people may not have seen the videos I'm showing you tonight. And right now, Trump doesn't need zingers. He doesn't really need much of an attack. She can't answer simple questions. Obviously, tomorrow is going to be all based and predicated upon how the moderators handle things. If the moderators ask the right questions, if they don't sit there and spend a whole night talking about baby removal or global warming and get to the issues that people care about, she's toast. Absolutely toast. She couldn't answer, let me rephrase that, no one in her camp could answer that question. She didn't even have to pick up the phone. Hey, are you guys still doing, is she still doing this EV mandate? We'll get back to you. Oh, tell him no comment. You want me to tell this writer from Axios, who's going to go on CNN, that we don't even have a comment on a major policy like that? Okay. Yeah, sure. Kamala going to end up taking it like Biden took it? Oh, who are the moderators? Good question. The moderators, I forget the woman's name, but she's one who tried to say that Trump was in the KKK. So he's walking into the lion's den. But there's only so much these people can do, because remember, they're on TV as well. If they come across as trying to protect her, it's not going to look good. And the reason being is she has put the spotlight on herself. Because she's not done any interviews, she has put the spotlight on herself, because this is her coming out party. This is her Sweet 16, per se. She's going to have to be on her game completely. It's so bad that I almost started thinking, man, is this a head fake? Is she going to come out smoking tomorrow? And people are looking at this as she's dumb, because I can't imagine seeing all this dumb stuff that she could really be that dumb. I don't know how she could be that dumb in running for president. Is this a campaign to try and get Trump to lower his guard by thinking, oh, he's getting ready to walk in there and talk to an idiot? It could be. We'll know very quickly. But my gosh, 60-second delay between your posts. Oh, that's something else. Time to pray for God to fill Trump with the Holy Spirit in the name of Jesus. Amen. Yeah, give him resolve. Give him calmness. Melania should be back there going, chill, let it chill. Usa. Because he probably just get frustrated with her ambivalence and not knowing what the hell she's talking about. That could be bad too. They better ask tough, relevant questions affecting Americans versus anti-Trump questions. Yep. They got to put her feet to the fire. They can't let her just obfuscate and sit there and talk crazy crap. That would be a disservice to the entire American population. So now we're going to listen to, and so when I divided this show up, I was doing her strategy and then Trump's strategy. And so I'm showing you that she doesn't really have a strategy other than to paint Trump as the big bad guy.
Maria, whether because of muted microphones or not, we did see a far more disciplined Donald Trump in the most recent debate than we had seen previously. If that same Donald Trump shows up, how should Kamala Harris deal with that?
Well, I think what she's doing, and we've heard some reporting on this, is that she is prepping for whatever version of Donald Trump shows up. But you're right, that disciplined, focused Donald Trump might very well show up. Let's remember that this will be his 7th presidential election debate. This is Kamala Harris's first. And so while I believe that she will absolutely have the chance to offer her ideas, a massive and stark contrast with where she wants to take the American people with her administration.
How is she going to do that? How is she going to have a stark contrast when she's been in office for 3.5 years? How is she going to say, I'm looking at your resume. So are you going to basically, at this point, throw Dementia Joe under the bus? Are you going to say, hey, well, it was him, man. I wanted to do stuff differently. It was this old guy with dementia, and he wouldn't let me do it. He made me follow him. Maybe that's what she's planning on saying.
Versus what Donald Trump has done in the 4 years that he was in the Oval Office, and what he will do, given that we know the extremism of Project 2025.
That's all I got. This is what Donald Trump's going to do. Huh? It's the extremism of 2025. So you're talking down to your audience once again. You just lie. You're worried about Trump lying. And all you can do to try and bolster her is to lie. 2025 is nothing. Stop talking about it. At some point, you guys got to get over it and say, what's she going to do?
I still think that this is not going to be a slam dunk for her by any means, and they are prepping for that. Look, we know the various versions of Donald Trump that have shown up, and we know that he will lie. We know that he will do insults, conspiracy theories.
She's saying this because this is what they're counting a flub it so that she doesn't look bad. So Trump's going to get out there. He's going to lie. He's going to come out with a bunch of conspiracy theories and half-truths and all this kind of stuff because we know Kamala can't combat the truth. Trump's biggest strategy tomorrow, Let her talk.
You know, he can't focus on one line of inquiry or one line of questioning, one line of answering, and that's what I think his folks are afraid of. But at the same time, for Kamala Harris, it is tough to be there and be somebody who's going to have to fact check every single time. So
Whoa. You see what they're trying to do. She just said it again, as did a couple of the other people. What they're hoping she does is, because they can have a pad, they can't bring notes, but they can have a blank pad given to them. Every time Trump says something, she's going to write it down. You're going to see her tomorrow feverishly writing down. And when a question comes to her, is the sky blue? But wait a second. Let me address what he just said. And she's going to try and fact check him, which is going to be kind of weird because she's not that bright. So how is she going to fact check him on the fly when she can't even say her own stuff on the fly? So what we've seen here, her entire strategy is not to answer the questions given to her, but to try and prove Trump as a liar or being wrong on his answers. Well, what I'm asking you, Ms. Harris, what are you going to do about immigration? Well, first of all, let's talk about Trump. He wants to go ahead and deport all these people. Okay, we're clapping. Yeah, we're okay with that. But what are you going to do about it? Well, we got to make sure that we treat these people humanely. And Trump should just come back, well, how humanely did you treat the 320,000 babies that you can't find?
So she's going to have to focus on making sure that she has the opportunity to lay out her vision, not get baited into a back and forth on insults, which we know that he will try. And that's exactly what she's prepping for. But look, he can be crazy, and it is tough to prep for crazy. So
I think
it is hard to prep for crazy. That's all they're counting on. I'm telling you right now, people, we've been here for an hour, and they don't seem... This is exactly why I think it's almost a ruse. You can't be this obtuse. The entirety of the media at this point is saying she basically has no chance. The entirety of the media is basically coming out and saying all she can do is try and counterpunch because she can't do anything. These aren't my words. You've heard it here over and over again. There is no strategy. The people on the news shows have asked, what's the strategy? What are you going to do? Oh, we want to fact check him. He's going to be lying. He's going to do insults, and he's going to do conspiracy theory. No. What are you going to do? Don't tell me what Trump's going to do. Tell me what your candidate is going to do tomorrow. Now, this next person is the former governor of New Jersey who's working with Kamala Harris now because she can pick him as well. And she's on CNBC. And this woman is overmatched big time.
She's been crystal clear on her values, what she wants to fight for, and how she will do it. And also, she talks to people. Right? She's reaching out to me. She's reaching out to businesses.
She hasn't talked to the press. Yeah, I know you're a surrogate, but the American people are frustrated. The media is frustrated at the amount of access anyone's gotten to her for the past 41 days. I know you've seen that. We're finally going to have a debate tomorrow night, but she sat down for one interview that was taped and then cut down, and certain little things came out from it. But it has been a master class in avoiding any questions, and nothing's been made clear.
When you go on these networks at this point and they're telling you, shut up, stop lying to me. Just stop. You came on my show and you're blowing up my butt some smoke about she's made herself quite available. She's out there talking to the people, and this dude on CNBC is like, nah, I've had it. Shut up. You're lying to me. I'm not one of your sycophants on MSNBC. She hasn't done anything. She's hidden. And I feel bad for some of these surrogates who have to go out there and do these interviews, because I think to myself, man, they really hung you out to dry, didn't they? They made you go out there and defend this feckless candidate that you have. What are you supposed to say?
By her. Maybe it's been made clear in dribs and drabs from her policymakers when it comes out in print or on off a teleprompter at one of her scripted speeches. She's been impossible to pin down on anything because she hasn't given any access.
In a street term, you know what this woman just got. She got the beat down. She got the B slap. He's like, save that. Save it. Don't want to hear this stuff anymore. What is she going to do? And here's just another one coming out to one of these shows. Oh, she's been so, telling everybody what's going on.
The American people deserve it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and I hear you, but I respectfully disagree. This is a presidential election like no other. She only has a few weeks to do everything, and she's spending her time talking to Americans.
All right, hold on a second. So I've heard that excuse one time too many. It's a campaign like we've never seen before. She only had a couple weeks to put this together. Whose fault is that? Why do I give a crap that she's only had a couple weeks to put this together? Not my problem. You took the job, or rather the position. You didn't have to take it. You could have said, whoa, man, we only got a couple months left to do this. We're going to have to put together an organization. How do we do it? We're going to do it. You could have just said, no, I'm not ready. Now you're using that as an excuse based upon a decision that you made, not her, but whoever made it for her. Yeah, you took on the responsibility of running as a presidential candidate for the Democrat Party, knowing you're booting Dementia Joe out at the last minute. And now you're complaining that you're running as a presidential candidate at the last minute when you did it yourself and accepted it. Not my problem if you're not ready. Not my problem if she didn't have an organization. That's your problem. That's the Democrats' problem. You chose this person. You knew what her faults were, and you decided to put her in place. And now you want us to feel bad because she's only had a limited amount of time. You can save that.
Has a punishing schedule, out and about, everywhere, being with the people who she wants to elect her. But I guess, look, tomorrow night it will be on display. It'll be a robust debate. I guess from where I see it, and were I still in my old role as a governor, or prior to that I ran a business, I see in her somebody who has a vision, who's been really clear about her desire.
He just told you she wasn't clear. There's nothing clear about her. And they go right back to the line. Say the line, say the line. Oh, yeah, she's been clear. She's talking to the people. No, she hasn't.
Desire to help businesses and small businesses. She talks about being, pro-business, pro-worker at the same time.
She choked on that. She's talked about being pro-business and pro-worker at the same time. Really? Tell me how taking a huge capital gains tax and putting that on business is being pro-business. Go through the mental gymnastics and make that understandable. You can't. Another lie. And this woman's worse than Kamala. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about.
And I just see in Donald Trump somebody who got...
Pivot. Oh, it's Donald Trump. The guy's asking you, what is your candidate going to do? Blah, 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 blah. Donald Trump. Come back here. Talk to us about your candidate.
Governs with great unpredictability. He wakes up one day, he's angry at some sector, and he'll lash out on them. I also, frankly, think that his tariff proposal is downright scary and destabilizing. So America can't afford that, right? Businesses can't afford it, families.
Notice when people say that kind of comment, just listen to people who talk like this. And when they say blah, 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 right? It means they're looking for affirmation. They're not sure, right? They're not really sure what they're saying, and they want you to understand that you need to agree with me, right? That is one of the worst things in public speaking out there. When you need to get that affirmation and you lead people because you need them to say what you want them to say, right? That's when you know someone is really in trouble with what they're saying.
Can't afford it, and I think it's crystal clear who will be better on the economy.
Gina Raimondo, it's a longer conversation. We hope to have you back soon. We'll be watching, of course, the debate, and I'm sure we'll talk to you after it. Thank you.
I'm sure you'll talk to her. Couldn't wait to get rid of her. The other guy went off camera. I'm done with her. Done with these people. Absolutely done. They're idiots. There's nothing left to talk about at this point. That's why Harris shakes her head when she talks. Yeah. You know what I mean, right? Right. You're trying to get the person you're talking to nod their head in affirmation, just to get them say. Makes you feel better. Makes you feel like you're on point. You're getting people to acknowledge what you're saying and give you a positive feedback because you don't feel comfortable in what it is you're saying. Looks like the wish for the Wizard of Oz. Oh, you people are tough. What is that lady talking about? Trump had 4 years and did what he said he'd do. Absolutely. They can't talk about their candidate and the good she's done. All they can do is badmouth Trump. They pivot so fast to that. Most of Kamala's staff quit on her. That lady don't know her facts. Yep, 92% of her staff members have left. That's the kind of track record. Like, you wouldn't run a business if your manager, director, or department head was turning over 92% of their staff. You wouldn't do it. Harris, stick a fork in it. She's done. Like I said, the only thing I'm thinking at this point is that it's a ruse, that she's going to come out firing. I don't know. I don't believe she can do it, but something has to be the reason why these people are just laying the expectations really low. You got 2 months to an election, and you're trying to tamp down expectations. This is when you should be raising expectations. Oh, she's going to come out. She's going to take this guy to task. She's going to waste him. At the end of this debate, there will be no doubt who's the better person. You watch this video. Have they been saying that? No. Not really sure. Trump's going to do this. Trump's going to do that. Trump's a dictator. Trump this. Trump. What is your person going to do? Now I want you to notice the difference here. Now we're going to shift into what people are saying, what Trump's strategy should be. It's very interesting here. I want you to take a look at this.
President Trump is well prepared for the debate tomorrow night. That is right. He doesn't need traditional debate prep. He's proven to be one of the most effective debaters in modern political history. Just look at how he knocked off Joe Biden out of the race and the CNN debate stage. He is very well read on Kamala Harris's record. Again, not just her failures of the past 4 years, her botched Afghanistan withdrawal, her disastrous time as border czar, her radical economic policies that have created suffering across this country, but he also is well read on her time as DA, as her time as AG. Kamala Harris refused to prosecute violent murderers during her time as Attorney General. As a district attorney, she refused to deport illegal immigrants from the state of California. And for every new solution that Kamala Harris will propose on that debate stage tomorrow night, President Trump will ask her the question of why don't you go do it right now? Kamala is trying to run as the...
I'm sorry, who has been saying that over and over? That's the easiest retort that he has, just to come right back at her. Everything you say, why haven't you been doing it? It's very simple. Okay, what's your answer? Why haven't you done what you say you're going to do? Who has held you back? Now, I would assume, just so you guys realize, I would assume that they understand she's going to get hit with that question. It's going to be awesome to see what they put in her mind as the response to that. I gotta believe at this point the only response she can have is to come after Dementia Joe. That would probably be her only option.
The change candidate, the candidate of the future. She is neither of those things. She is the incumbent vice president. She has been an epic failure. She has been a co-partner in Joe Biden's disastrous policies. And she's been running from the media now for 50 days, refusing to answer questions. Well, President Trump will be the first to ask her those tough questions on the debate stage tomorrow night.
So now you hear what Trump's strategy is going to be. She's going to come out and ask and say, why haven't you done it? And let's talk turkey. What are you doing? What do you got for the American people? I have a question for you. Moderators don't want to ask you, what are you going to do about gas? What are you going to do about grocery prices? What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? Here's what I would do. And you're just throwing it back at her. That's what the most sense is. Just to put her on... Midas just showed up. To put her on the defensive. Make her defend what is indefensible. At this point, there's no possible way she can defend what she's been doing. So here's another big strategy that they're going to use against Trump. You're going to love this one.
The Trump policy is to deport everybody, whether they have a green card or not.
and just to eliminate all immigration, essentially.
This guy, he, just to let you know, he's not a Trump surrogate. He is a Kamala Harris surrogate. And he's saying that Trump is going to deport, millions and millions and millions of newcomers. Like that's a bad thing.
Because they do not want people who are not white to come into this country. It's
eventually they're going to have to talk about this misinformation board and get this misinformation thing. The people here at YouTube and, X and everything else, they're banning X around the world because they're worried about misinformation. Yet these networks and these politicians do nothing but get on and spout misinformation or disinformation, and nobody says anything about it. All he cares about is that, he just wants everyone in America to be white.
plain and simple.
Well, here's the reality of the situation. We have roughly 10 million illegal immigrants in this country on Biden-Harris administration time. Whether Kamala wants to take credit for that or not, it really doesn't matter. It's the reality of the situation. But her get-out-of-jail-free card for all of this is that she will sign the Bipartisan Border Act. That is the low-hanging fruit. It was designed to give Democrats a talking point, and they are certainly using that. But what I want to know from her tomorrow night, and I hope she'll be asked, and I hope she'll answer, is whether or not deportation is a part of her border enforcement or immigration plan. Because we've got 10 million plus in this country, and either they're going to be given work authorization and they're going to take 10 million jobs from Americans, as you discussed in your previous segment, or they're not going to be allowed to work and they're going to continue to suck off of the government and off of these city budgets that are already devastated. The only other option is deportation, and to my knowledge, Kamala Harris does not have a deportation plan. Donald Trump is the only one with a deportation plan. So I hope that she's asked about this, because either way, we've got 10 million people in this country, and if she's President Harris, she's going to have to deal with them.
Scott, last
time out. Damn, Tommy, you came hard right there. She's absolutely right, though. What are you going to do about these, millions and millions and millions of newcomers? Oh, Tommy obviously didn't see her new policy platform she put up. She wants to make them all citizens. She actually put on her website today, so it would be ready for the debate tomorrow. One day, she puts her policies up today. And on that policy sheet, she decides that she's going to make a pathway to citizenship for all of the newcomers. That's her policy. She's not deporting anybody. She just told you, we're going to make them all citizens. That's what we're going to do. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of Democrats who aren't happy with that. I know most Republicans aren't. But you've actually put it in writing now. That your entire process, all this thing was a huge plan to get as many newcomers in here as possible. And then you and Chuck Schumer would work together to make sure that you're the one political party forever by making all these people citizens so that they can vote. You don't even have to cheat anymore. You just want to make them all citizens. They're all Democrats, and you would be in power forever. Change the Supreme Court, change the Constitution, change it all. That should be the poison pill. Trump needs to highlight that tomorrow. He needs to say, are you seriously talking about making all these people citizens? Are you really, really going to tell the American people that these 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 million people that you guys brought in here that didn't vet any of them, that are eating cats, you want to make all of them citizens? Are you telling the American people that right now? You want to look at a camera and tell them that? Don't be shy. You put it on your website. I got a copy of it. Tell these people, look in the camera and tell the American people that all of these people are going to have a pathway to citizenship. Game over. Game, set, match.
Week, Trump was saying that his plan was he's going to, quote, let her talk. So he's just going to let her talk like he did with Biden in their debate back in June. Is that what you're expecting?
Well, if she does, she's going to have a lot of explaining to do, and that's really what Trump has to do as part of his strategy, try to let her unwind all of her past positions that she ran on before and let her unwind on all the things she helped Joe Biden do, which, of course, cause the American people to sour on this administration. Look, it's a change election. And so if you're Trump and you're looking at some of the recent polling, like in the New York Times, you're already seen as the change agent. The goal of this debate is for people to turn off the TV and say, yep, I want change, and Trump represents that change that I need on the economy, on immigration, or whatever your most important issue is. Those will be the top two that he should be focused on. So it's really staying focused on that core mission. She's more of the same, I'm change, and however he gets from A to B, that's the strategy he needs to go for.
What's your advice to President Trump?
He's absolutely right. Now, this is Glenn Beck talking to Bill O'Reilly. And I think Bill O'Reilly has the best advice for Trump and his strategy tomorrow. This is, it's short, but it's dead on.
Tomorrow, what does he have to do?
Facts. Facts. Just hammer her with facts. I would lead off with, they're going to ask him some question. Go, oh, look, I'll get to that. But before, I would just like to know from the vice president, as an American, because I'm a little upset here tonight on the stage. I'm just thinking about why in God's name would you open a border to allow 10 to 15 million foreign nationals to come into this country?
She's got to answer that. I don't care how he gets it in. I don't care if the moderators try to shut him down. We need to know specifically what her problem is and how she is okay with these tens of millions of people coming into the country, and that now she wants to go ahead and give them a pathway to citizenship. If you believe in what you're talking about, say it. Don't be a wuss. Don't sit up there on the stage tomorrow and pretend as though, oh, I didn't say it. No, I've got a copy of what you printed. Tell the American people right now that you plan on letting all these people in as citizens. Let the vote decide in November whether or not they want 10 to 20 million newcomers to be citizens.
Why? That's it. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple and civil. I think she
don't
wants
do
to.
anything.
Her thing is piss him off. He's just
Yeah,
got to
you
remain
gotta
cool.
know that, though.
Yeah, I know he does.
Gotta know it.
Yeah. Well, she said it, or at least her camp has said it. That was her strategy.
Pennsylvania.
All right, so this is Harry from CNN. I only included this because Pennsylvania, as he says. This is really his numbers. Not that I believe him, but I'm listening to what he says here with his numbers regarding Pennsylvania. And it's very interesting because these people are starting to realize now the numbers that they've said for months aren't true.
Pennsylvania, and what we see is a tightening race in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. All right, this is Harris versus Trump margin in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. A month ago, when you looked at the polls, New York Times +4 Harris, +3 Quinnipiac for Harris, Franklin and Marshall +3 for Harris. But look at polls that have come out over the last week or so, and what do we see? We see a much tighter race. We see a tie in the CBS YouGov poll. We see a tie in the CNN SSRS poll. And this, to me, is part of an emerging pattern, which is in a very pivotal state. What we saw was a small Harris lead, but within the margin of error, becoming a race that is way, way, way too close to call at this particular point, one that is even.
You say very pivotal the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania could be. How pivotal?
How pivotal. All right, so let's take a look at this particular map. This is with the betting favorites, but with Kamala Harris taking the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania over here. What do we see? We see that Kamala Harris wins in this particular case. Look at that, with exactly 270 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 268. All right, so Kamala Harris.
Got to stop him right there. Make sure it's on. Got to stop him. He's talking about Kamala Harris taking Pennsylvania and winning. But you have to look at that map that he's put there. That also includes her taking all the other states up there. It includes her taking Wisconsin, taking Michigan. She has to win them all just to get to a point where Pennsylvania makes it the deal for her. So he didn't point that out, but he's got in the blue up there, he's got Pennsylvania as possibly her, Michigan, and Wisconsin. She has to win them all to get to 270. One or two of those falls, things are a lot different.
Wins the Electoral College when she wins the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But let's take Pennsylvania out of Kamala Harris's column and put him into Donald Trump's column again, with the betting favorites, with Trump taking Pennsylvania, what happens when we turn Pennsylvania red? Well, take a look here. Donald Trump wins in the Electoral College, 287 electoral votes to Kamala Harris's 251 electoral votes. So that...
And he still has both Michigan and Wisconsin blue. So he's flip-flopping Pennsylvania, says what happens if Trump wins Pennsylvania, what happens if Kamala Harris wins Pennsylvania. But he didn't take any variance in Michigan and Wisconsin. So everyone's focused, completely focused on Pennsylvania, which I think Trump will win. But that only way she's even close is if she takes Wisconsin and Michigan as well.
Is why I say it is pivotal. Yeah.
It is so important. It's worth adding letters. I will say
it's worth adding letters. I can't even get it out. The bottom line is it is so important. This state is very, very important.
You important data people like to call it a tipping point state. It looks like Pennsylvania could be the tipping point state, which means the one state that will decide the election. Now, if it is in fact the tipping point state, is there any elected official in Pennsylvania who may have been on a ticket that might have made a difference?
Well, this was the great question when Kamala Harris was making her VP selection. Who should she select? And of course, folks like myself thought that she should take Josh Shapiro.
All right, so she didn't take Josh Shapiro, and people are saying she didn't take Josh Shapiro as her vice presidential candidate because people were upset that she would lose Michigan because she didn't pick, because she picked a Jewish politician. So many Muslims in Michigan that they felt she might lose it if she picked him. Meanwhile, now she's put Pennsylvania in play just because she wanted to make sure those nuts in Michigan were happy.
Of course, is the governor of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Why? Because his approval rating is 59%. And the bottom line is, if Kamala Harris loses in the state of Pennsylvania, and that is the tipping point state, as Mr. Berman put it, the state that put Donald Trump over the top in the Electoral College, there are going to be some real questions as to whether Kamala Harris should have chosen Josh Shapiro, given how popular he is in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Could she have been a winner if she had chosen him instead of Tim Walz? We don't know the answer to that question. We don't know who's going to win the state of Pennsylvania, but it's certainly a question that at this particular moment, with the Pennsylvania polls getting tighter and tighter and tighter, that I'm certainly asking, John.
I don't think they're getting that much tighter and tighter and tighter. In fact, tomorrow it may be over. It just may be done. So we'll see. I saw earlier that somebody, just wanted to say this, that somebody was complaining that they got banned or put in timeout. Understand, we get a ton, a metric F ton of comments. As of right now, I can tell you, we've got it in a slower motion, and we still received almost 8,000 comments. The people who are moderators, including my daughter, are doing the best they can to keep the trolls down, and you've got to click on these buttons very fast to make sure you're clicking the right person. And so calm down. Mistakes happen. People will go back and be able to fix it. But in order to keep this thing somewhat sane in the comment section, sometimes people hit the wrong button. So just chill. Breathe. Woosah. It's all good. If you didn't say anything bad, we'll get you fixed. We'll get you, back to where you were. Just give everybody a chance. Breathe. So that's what it is. Too late now. She is such a dumbass. I'm going to go vote for Trump and Vance to go to the White House. The mods are doing the best they can to try and keep this place from going completely nuts. Thanks, Barry's dog and the mods. Yeah, he's back. He's sitting here right there. Midas, you want to come up here? Nope, he ignores me. Completely ignores me. No, I pray it will be over tomorrow night. Me too. The elections are being stolen with major fraud, same white supremacist Joe Biden, blah, 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 blah. That's why Trump is correct. Make it too big to rig. Get out there, flood it. Flood the zone, make it too big to rig. Yeah, take a few deep breaths, just chill. Can you limit the chat to every 2 minutes, somebody says. Yeah, I can do that, but then, you won't be able to see it and everything. So, this is a good question. What about the, where is that? What about the over 400,000 Amish people that are saying they're voting? Yeah, they're not answering any phones for any polls. That's a huge, huge voting block. They don't have internet. Most of them don't have cell phones. They don't have landlines. They don't use modern technology. And nobody's putting that into the numbers. That is an absolutely huge point. The 400,000 Amish people who you've told can't basically grow their own stuff. You were all over their lives during that period of time a couple of years ago. You don't think they remember that? Of course they remember that. Of course they do. And you don't count them into your poll. So I saw all that. And then tonight, Donald Trump himself came out with a new, I don't know if it's new, but first time I heard it, another policy which I think closes the deal. This was about an hour ago I saw this video. Some of you may have seen it. I saw it and I went, that's it. Done. Over. Cancel Christmas. It's finished. This thing gets out there. He talks about it tomorrow. It's over. I'm going to let you hear him say this in full screen. Check this out.
I fully support tough mandatory sentences on child rapists and human traffickers. By contrast, as Attorney General of California, Kamala Harris redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as nonviolent crimes. Kamala is a radical left lunatic, and if you want to save your community, if you want to save your country, you cannot let her get anywhere near the office of president. November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. Hopefully, you're going to be voting for Trump. We're going to make America great again.
Deal closer. End of it. That's done. That's it. You're going to go after the traffickers. You're going to go after all of the stuff I can't really say here. Find out where these 300,000 kids are. Release that guy's client list. That is what I think so many Americans want. Let's just clean the slate. Let's find out how stinky our government really is. Let's just open the door and say that person, all these people did all this stuff. You're trafficking people. If you're involved, you're going down. That's it. We got to save these kids. To me, more so than the economy. Number one priority to me, maybe just as a dad and a grandfather, is save these kids. Because I think if we save these kids and we save women from having to do the most god-awful things and being forced into this stuff, if we can clean that up, I think the other stuff will be easy. Because I think it will ensnare so many of the deep state that that's what they're terrified of. That's what they're squirming in their pants about. Because if Trump comes in, and this time he does have the right people, and says, all right, we're going to clean this up, you're going to see people flying out of Washington really fast. Don't know where they're going to go, but that's one of the reasons I think they also want to do so much censorship. Stop these people from talking. Stop these videos from getting out. I think, personally, if we stop that stuff, we're going to see so many people maybe self-deport. And I'm not even talking about the newcomers. I'm talking about people in government who know what they've done over a period of decades, how they've profited, and I think that would clean up our government very quickly. They know what they've done. They need to be brought to justice. The veil needs to be pulled off. I need to see, you should need to see, every client on that guy's list who had that island. Every single one of them. We have the best intelligence agency in the world, and you're telling me we can't find 320,000 kids? We can fly a drone over some desert inside of some crawl space and blow up some nut job halfway across the world from Washington with a drone? or wherever they're launched from, and you're telling me we don't have cameras and different things that we can see and find out where these kids are? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it for an instant. I think they know where many of these kids are. I think they know who's profiting from them. I know who's getting the money from them. I guarantee you there is so much to be uncovered that it would change our country immediately. There's a reason why these people are freaking out. They're working with them. They're friends with them. They go to parties with them. They've been doing it for years. Music business, movies, sports, big business, government. We need to know who the scum are that have been involved in our government. I think that deep state's a lot deeper than a lot of people want to know. I think it's a lot deeper than most people can even imagine. When you're going to find out that X person and Y person were doing stuff with kids, or trafficking women, or doing... It doesn't happen on its own. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. People know what's going on. Most of them are terrified to talk about it, or they may be wrapped up in it themselves. You've seen some people flip on some things and say, I don't want to have nothing to do with Trump unless it's Kamala Harris. And you're like, think to yourself, why would you be for Kamala Harris? It doesn't make any sense. George Bush, why would you be for Kamala Harris? Dick Cheney, Mike Pence. What? Doesn't make any sense. Pence don't make no sense. Why would you be supporting Kamala Harris? You want the same thing the rest of us do. What is it that these people are hiding? What is in the dark crevices that nobody gets to see? That they've all basically been, don't talk about it, enjoy it, but don't talk about it. I've seen the movies. I don't know if you Sound of Freedom, I told you about the new one that's out. I haven't gone to see that yet, but I've seen the movie Taken. These things aren't just stories that they just make up. A lot of people understand when writers and directors come up with ideas that they're taking it from real life. It's not just something, you know what? I got an idea for a movie. And what we're going to do is we're going to show these two girls going on vacation in Rome or whatever it is, and they're going to get taken. And they're going to be sold to people on yachts and stuff. And then we can have Liam Neeson come in and shoot everybody up. But still, the story, how would you come up with that? How would you sit down one day and go, you know, I'm going to write a script. Okay, what are you going to write about? I'm going to write this script about these girls getting taken. No, that doesn't cross my mind. I wouldn't even think that really happens. Is that far-fetched? Nobody would believe it. Okay. I'm going to write this song. And this song is going to talk about some crazy stuff happening. And people are going to think maybe I was hitting the weed or something. But where'd it come from? Where'd the idea come from? I think there's so much stuff we don't know. And when I heard Trump drop that tonight, I'm like, Lord, please keep this man safe. This is no longer just about politics. We are in a good versus evil scenario. I am confident on it. I saw it yesterday with a video with a woman eating a cat. Evil right now is running amok. And here's a guy who's saying, you know what? If I become president, I'm going to release this, going to release that, going to release the other thing. And people are freaking. Notice Kamala Harris hasn't even mentioned that. Why? Why hasn't Kamala Harris mentioned the Kennedy files? Why has Kamala Harris, a woman, not mentioned helping sex trafficking? Why has she not mentioned 300,000 babies, kids missing? Why hasn't she mentioned the client list? Why is it that this person is running for president and won't answer or even talk about these things? Make yourself think. These are things people do care about. Can't talk about it because you can't say it. Can't say certain words. But when you see people, and I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to be seen as accusing these people of being involved in this activity. But you see prominent businessmen that you know are voting against their own self-best interest. What? Why would he say that when we know that it would hurt him if she got to be president? Oh, what are you hiding? What are you hiding, bro? What's behind the curtain? I'm just saying. I'm just saying there's stuff that we don't know that goes a lot further than taxes and everything else. It's time, like the movie said, time for an enema. We got to clean this up, and Trump's the guy to do it for me. So tomorrow, Kamala is a puppet just like Joe was. Yep, absolutely. I seen on Google in my city and local news 2 days ago had Kingsport for Kamala march and rally, and they said since it announced she's running, a lot of people in my city are switching. Yeah, you love my shirt, my purple shirt? Thank you very much. Courtesy of the wife. According to a fellow Johnson, I have to look that up. She's a part of it. You have to wonder when there's such a huge issue, when you don't even talk about it, it doesn't even cross your mind. How come no Democrat talks about it? Very few Republicans, but none on the other side. AOC, you're a woman. You would think that this would compel women to step up and go, we need to fix this. Just saying. Just saying. Talked to my wife about it a lot. What would you do? Oh, I'd be all over this. Oh, yeah, so I know what she's talking about. It is good versus evil. I love your channel, brother. You speak the truth. I have to speak the truth. And secondly, I want to give you information that requires you to think as well. Because I also know people aren't saying it. They're not even saying, did you think about this? Because I don't have the answer. But something doesn't make any sense. Nancy Pelosi, go down the line. Nobody talks about it. And me being a discerning person, because, well, why are you not talking about this? Is this of no consequence? Does it not matter? You're going to have this debate and talk about everything but what matters. Oh, global warming. Oh, baby removal. National baby removal. Can we talk about some good stuff here? Yeah, we're going to talk about prices of gas. We're going to talk about prices of food. We're going to talk about mortgage rates. We're going to talk about taxes. But let's also talk about these 300,000 kids that are missing. No? No? Wow, the feed just went dark. Is that what's going to happen tomorrow? If he were to bring that up? Done? We're done? We're done. Hey, we're going to talk about this guy's list over in that island. You know, we arrested this woman because she procured people, but none of the people who were involved in partaking in the procurement ever got arrested? None of them? None? Not a single one? Oh, that's odd. Don't you find it odd that somebody got convicted and is supposedly in jail for procuring young people on this island, and not a single person who participated in what was procured has ever been announced? Not one. Years and years and years and years. And not a single one, none of them, have been brought to justice. It's like it never happened. It was her fault. She's the one. She brought him into the parties. And then, yeah, we can't tell you about what happened at the party, but she's the one. That's it. That's all you need to know. Use your mind. Use your mind. Yeah, that too. How about censorship? See, I think censorship is a deeper thing, because I think what we need to start figuring out, and Elon is good at this, is, yeah, we shouldn't have to have censorship, but why are you censoring? It's not just political. What is it that you don't want people talking about? I'm sitting here talking in code and being vague, and I hope enough of you are hearing it, but that's just crazy. Lock and load, people. Lock and load. It's going to get absolutely nuts. You know it is. You can't have any doubt. You know for a fact it's going to get crazy. The more this stuff happens, the crazier it's going to get. No doubt. All right, so before I go, let me go ahead and give thanks to everyone who participated in tonight's show. Don't forget, tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we're going to go live with a gentleman from Lear Capital, Kevin, the CEO, and then we're going to jump right into the debate, and then we'll probably have a little after party or so, and we're going to also give away a trip. All of that at the same time. All right, here we go. 3M Cantor just found out that the Columbus, Ohio, where I live, has been awarded $6.6 million grant from FEMA to house newcomers, refugees. Our city is run by Democrats. God help us. Any advice? The only advice I can give you, 1, vote them out. 2, if you can, move. Hey, Marcus, Ice Ice Baby, Big Cat, Barry, loving your show. Thank you. Sorry, Big Cat. Don't know what happened yesterday. Like I said, there's a lot of moderators, a ton of comments. We're trying to slow it down and give everybody a chance to speak. So you might have just got caught in that. Just another knucklehead. Thank you, sir. Not going to watch it live. Yeah, we're going to be live. You can come in unless you're working. Anthony Solomon, thanks for the show. Our boys took a step backwards Saturday in South Bend. Now, they didn't take a step backwards. They're done. You lost to North Illinois, at home. September, and you're done. You're done. Judy Leslie, flush the toilet. She's done. Powerful Logistics, nice shirt. Well, you guys like this purple, huh? I might have to get some more of these purple shirts. Frankie Hawaii, mahalo. America just wants a similar or better 2016 term again. Yes. Veep, Kamala is going to get fried tomorrow. We certainly hope so. The Anthill. Trump is more prepared by doing nothing than she could ever be because of her history. Got my popcorn ready. Trump is prepared because he knows what he's talking about. You're not going to trip him up. It's like talking to Nick Saban and talking to him about running the offense. You know, I don't need any notes. I've been doing it. I got this. Ask me whatever question you want. I can tell you whichever quarterback I've had over the years. If I'm Nick Saban, that's how Trump is. I know what I'm talking about. Bruce, wow, Bruce with the big one. Thank you, Mr. Langworthy. My wife and I just wanted to say thanks for all you do, Barry. We really enjoy your show, and my wife watches the ones I miss during the day. Thank you very much. 1FO, you misspelled Will in the title. Just letting you know. Will, sorry. I bet the cat ladies will be voting for Trump now. Should be. Cal Hen, thank you. Vipul Pawani, thank you. Kamala is holed up in a hotel, cramming debating nets like his final week, hoping to drop some knowledge bombs on people. All she could have been practicing was zingers and attacks. That's it. Big Cat, thank you again. Much love to you, beautiful patriots. Cal Hen, they should fund the government through January 7th. That's funny. Buster says, don't let them gaslight you. If everything was so great, then why is Kamala hiding so much? Bingo. Unless it's a plan. Maybe we'll see otherwise tomorrow. Maybe she's going to come out firing. We don't know. Marcus, thank you. God is sweeping America. Susie Bonham, I was hit with ads from Bernie and Kamala Harris to donate $5. Thought of you. Anthony Solomon, how is she going to protect the new Green Deal while opening pipelines and fracking? She can't because they contradict one another. That's what Bernie was saying. She's just saying what she needs to say to get elected. Trump needs to hit her on that. Excuse me. Yeah, because he needs to let her know, we know your game. Susie Bonham. Oofa. Here's another from Obama. Love you, Barry. Thank you. Barry, please intro a session with the Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire song. Look it up. All right, you give me some homework. I'll look it up. Starlight. Let's go, everyone. We got the winner. Kamala can only beat Trump by cheating. Which don't put it past him. John Plotkin, thank you. Nancy Roan, thank you, Barry, for all you do. My husband and I enjoy watching all your podcasts. Thank you very, very much. Debate will be a clown show. Trump or America is done. Yep. Christine Chong, thank you. Norma J. Barry, think about post-Trump win, Reconstruction 2.0, especially for the black community, leaving the Democrat plantation. The job rush, should he win, would be incredible. Absolutely incredible. Christopher Smock, thank you. Ruth McCurdy, just call Stormy, leave the kids alone. Elvin Saria, Kamala said no tax on tips because she'll benefit her and her husband involved in Uber. Look it up. Really? I have to look that up. Severo Flores, thank you again. When you have people of all ethnicities, rich and poor alike, across all political parties, seeing the same thing, it's time to stand together. We all should. Amber Carmuth, these people are literally rooting for the plane to crash because they don't like the pilot. Do they not realize that they're on the same plane that they're rooting to crash? That's what I'm saying, man. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. What are you hiding that you're willing to prostitute yourself for Kamala Harris, knowing it's not in your best interest? Can't tell you. Thank you, Elia. Freedom. Joe should have been impeached on day one. End of story. Very love your channel. Always honest and point on. Thank you from Tesla. Thank you all very, very much for tuning in. Hour and 50. Tomorrow's a big night. Tomorrow is the big night. I go live at 8 o'clock. Before we go live, what you need to do is go ahead and go here to enter into our giveaway. In our giveaway, we're giving away a 3-day, 2-night vacation down here in South Florida. We're going to pay for your airfare in a continental United States. We're going to put you up in a hotel. My wife and I are going to take you to dinner. Robin loves picking some great restaurants, so you'll have a good time there and maybe have a bottle of wine and have some fun and talk. But you got to go there to sign up. And if for some reason the spam filter locks you out, go ahead and email me and I'll just put you in manually. So talk to you guys tomorrow. Mods, thank you for everything that you did. Can't wait for tomorrow. I wish it was tonight. I'm just so excited, wondering what's going to happen. So we're going to see. Thanks for tuning in tonight.